Fuck around and find out. You can fuck around and find out. You may make it through the snakes, snares and alligators, but once you get to the gate, you can't depend on your waiters, cause you'll be over your tater. I'm talking growing tomatoes, feeding the worms I fish with later. I'll have a fish stick plate over a 6-foot grave before I take a knee as our anthem plays. My hands on my heart, I stand on what I say, and my Second Amendment handles what I can. I ain't trying to be Billy Badass or talk shit, I'm just saying, there's the line, don't cross it. I got a Red Ryder gun when I was 3, so I don't run or hide from anything, bitch. I'm a red, white, and blue collar boy from the South. Hey, you can fuck around and find out. I love my country, love my freedom, fuck a welfare, now I don't need them. Shotgun raised from the woods to the plate, ain't never went hungry, ain't never too late to come around here, son, running your mouth. You can fuck around and find out. Okay.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Today is Monday, March 31st, 2025. Shout out to everybody catching this on the live. If you're catching this on the live, come on in, come on in. If you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section down below. Also, I'm going to go ahead and place timestamps at the bottom in the description of this video so you can jump in and out of the video, whatever you want to do. Again, up to you. Ideally, I want you to watch the whole thing, but hey, you know, it is what it is. Happy Monday, y'all. How's everybody doing today? How is everybody doing today? Today is Monday. Can you believe it? We are almost halfway through 2025. It is crazy, 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 crazy. Shout out to everybody in the live. Let me see. Shout out to the moderators in the chat real quick before we jump on in. Shout out to the moderators in the chat. And then shout out to everybody catching this on the live. Kudos to y'all. Kudos to y'all. Let me jump into some of these comments real quick. What is going on, Terry? What's up, Patrick? Patrick Kennedy in the house. Rob in the house. Rob says, woo, woo. I got off. I got off early today and I can catch the live. Awesome. Awesome. Hope you're freaking loving the new gig. Missy, what is going on? Missy in the house. Yes, halfway. We're not even in spring yet. I know. Pretty soon, Thanksgiving Christmas decorations and Halloween decorations are going to be up. It's going to be crazy. Next month, you know how Home Depot does it. They got the decorations out quick. Oh boy. All right. How are you guys doing? You guys doing all right? All right, let me make sure I got the chat. Terry says we usually get the decor in July. Just a number checking in. What is up? What is up? I have a pulse. I have a pulse, he says. All right. Today, I think we might be shadow banned, but it's all good. It's all good. First up, we are going to cover Elon Musk dropping receipts the size of the national debt. During a town hall in Wisconsin, Elon laid out what might be the biggest voter fraud scandal in modern U.S. history, complete with a spicy little graph showing a 7-time spike in Social Security numbers handed to non-citizens under, guess who? Joey B, Sleepy Joe. Millions of non-citizens now showing up in the system, cashing in benefits, and more importantly, padding the voter rolls. Remember when Joey B had more votes than Obama? It's like a fantasy football league. Elon Musk is also launching an investigation into strangely wealthy members of Congress, i.e., Nancy Pelosi. You know, the ones who earn 180K annually for doing their job, but somehow have 3 beach houses, a wine house, a private jet, a vineyard, because apparently public service means that you have the opportunity to do inside trading. Meanwhile, Chicago officials, it is official, like a ref with a whistle. Chicago is now crowned the murder capital of the world. Who would have thought? Democrats defunded the police, giving taxpayers cash to illegal migrants. And now the body count is higher than that Bonnie lady that banged 120 dudes in 24 hours. And we're going to talk about the astronauts who were stranded in space for 9 months while Biden just left him up there. He said he was too busy sleeping. Elon had to go get him. We're going to talk about them. Good news, Mississippi, Mississippi, Mississippi just eliminated state income tax. Hyundai is hiring 8,500 people in a Georgia plant. And Trump teased a potential third term. And the leftist legacy media is absolutely freaking out. He's not even 100 days in his existing term. So I don't know why the media is freaking out. And the final twist, get this, the final story of the day, Epstein accuser that was involved in the Prince Andrew situation, guess what? She got hit by a bus. What are the odds of that? She got hit by a bus. Buckle up, guys, because we are jumping in. Before we jump into the first story, I want to give a shout out to everybody that's coming on in for the live. What is up, Ricardo? Ricardo in the house. Patrick Kennedy said, I remember I had to switch to live chat. What is up, Jax? Jax in the house. Jax is in the house. Wendellyn Young. Yes. Shout out to Wendellyn Young for catching the live. Let's go. Somebody bought a bus driver. Yeah, we're going to get into it. That is crazy. Somebody just randomly hit a person in a bus that was randomly associated with the Epstein situation. Just random. I don't know how frequently bus accidents occur so bad where the woman said she had 4 days to live. That seems like a setup to me. I don't know. Let me know in the chat down below. Be sure to smash the like button and subscribe for the YouTube algorithms. It does help significantly. All right. Look out, Pelosi. Why are you strangely wealthy? Isn't it crazy to me that these folks in Congress are mysteriously wealthy? But before we jump into that, Elon Musk confirms widespread voter fraud as millions of non-citizens get access to Social Security, Medicaid, and ballot boxes. Billionaire entrepreneur and Trump advisor Elon Musk dropped a bombshell this weekend during a 100-minute town hall, which I'm not going to play the whole thing here. I'm going to play little bits and pieces of it. But he says that that's almost 5 million non-citizens now embedded into the system, collecting benefits, draining taxpayer dollars, and infiltrating voter rolls. This guy is exposing the deep state like crazy. Where's my clip? Here it is. First off,
everybody,
how cool is this guy? Elon Musk coming out with a cheese hat. He also wore the big MAGA hat that should be in the thumbnail, the big MAGA hat. Let's jump into this.
Thanks for
Cheese
coming.
hat for the win.
What do you think of my hat? All right, I'm gonna sign the hat and I'm gonna throw it out. In the federal government, like shocking, really. It's insane. Yeah, it's really wild. So, like, I mean, it was inevitable that at least a few Soros operatives would be in the audience. Give my regards to George. Say hi to George from me. USA, 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 USA. Yep.
That's cool.
I mean, it was inevitable. I was waiting for that one. Isn't it shocking how much violence and hatred is coming from the left? I mean,
Yeah, aren't they supposed to be the party of joy?
Isn't it supposed to be the party that they claim to be the party of empathy, and yet they're burning Teslas and shooting up dealerships and calling for the death of the president and me? I'm like, guys, you know, this is insane. Like, they're gone psycho. I mean, it's really like I totally understand if somebody doesn't want to buy a product. Yeah, it's up to you. It's a free country, you know, but you don't have to burn it down. Okay. But much. That's somebody else's car. Leave it alone. Thanks, guys. And I'd like to welcome my friend Antonio Gracias to the stage. I think so. Does it work? I can give you mine. Does it work? It'll be okay. I mean, Buzz Aldrin's still alive, and he went past the belts.
Didn't work. Is this working? Yeah, it's on now. Yeah.
There you go. So, Antonio, can you tell us what you? Antonio is helping out with the Social Security. So, just trying to review Social Security, where you may have heard that we found 20 million dead people marked as alive.
20 million dead people marked as alive. That is bananas to me. How long do you guys think? Let me know in the chat down below. How long do you think that these people were collecting money
In the Social Security database? This is so crazy. And then you'll notice there's a strange trend here, where how many Social Security numbers were issued. Do you want to?
Yeah. So let me tell you what happened here. We started at the top of the system.
You want to talk about a lot of maybe?
We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of waste. And so that came up with a big list of stuff that we're working on. You've heard some of that already. But this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, this literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way.
Crazy.
My parents are immigrants. Yeah, this country's been great to us. My brother and sister all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America. And there are a lot of good people in the system that pointed us in this direction. I want to honor them right now, that work in the government today, who took risks to show us these numbers and tell us what's going on. Yeah. So I want to stop for a minute. I want to honor those people today. Very good people. Very good people. I have been from D.C. to Social Security offices to the border to track this down, and very good people have helped us along the way. I want to thank them.
Yeah.
This number, what this is when you come in the country, if you're illegal, there's a couple ways to come in. You come in through a port of entry, and you can tell them you're afraid, and they'll give you an asylum case. You'll get an interview, then you get in. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just go to the border. Literally, this happened. I talked to Border Patrol myself. Elon was there too. I went to Laredo, and I went to Bronzeville. Elon went to Eagle Pass. You walk up to a Border Patrol officer, and you tell them you want to come in. They have a couple of choices. They could charge you with a misdemeanor or a felony under 1325, or they can make it an administrative offense, like a parking ticket, basically. They were told to do that, make it an administrative offense under the last administration. And then you go walk across the border. They do what's called a release from your own recognizance, and they give you an NTA, a notice to appear, which to appear to judge.
Which they never do.
Times on judges are like average 6 years. Look at Grok, you'll see it on immigration judges. There's only 700 of them. This is 5.5 million people, okay? So what happens then? Once you're in the country and you got asylum through one of these pathways, and we mapped the whole thing out, you can apply for a work document. You file a 765, it's the work form. You get this form called the 766, that's the authorization, and then Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number. No interview, no ID.
This is worth just reiterating. It's not people sometimes think that under the Biden administration that he was simply asleep at the switch. He wasn't asleep.
No.
They weren't asleep at the switch. It was a massive, large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people and make it a permanent, deep blue, one-party state from which there would be no escape.
Look, if I hadn't seen this myself, I'm not sure I'd have believed it. I went through it myself and mapped it, and Elon is right. This is true. The defaults in the system from Social Security to all of the benefit programs have been set to max inclusion, max pay for these people, and minimum collection. That's what's happening. We found 1.3 million of them already on Medicaid, as an example. We've gone through, on every benefit program we went through, we found groups from this particular group of people, this 5.5 million people, in those benefit programs. And then what was really, really disturbing us was why. We're asking ourselves why. Right. And so we actually just took a sample and looked at voter registration records. And we found people here registered to vote in this population, yes.
And who did vote.
And we found some by sampling that actually did vote. And we have referred them to prosecution at the Homeland Security Investigation Service.
Yeah.
Already, that is already happening.
It's crazy to me, right? If you look at Kamala Harris's winning states, they were places where voter ID was not required. And this was the goal of the Democrat Party, is to open up the borders, say, hola, hombres, come on in, hombres, come on in. You get your Social Security card off the jump. All you need to do is say, hey, I'm here looking for sanctuary. Okay, cool. We're going to send your Social Security in the mail. It'll be there in about 2 weeks. Awesome. I need to apply for Medicaid, Medicare. Awesome. We'll get that over to you in the next 2 weeks. And we wonder why that Kamala Harris, the votes for her were predominantly areas with no voter ID. They were doing this purposefully. And imagine all that money that's going to illegal immigrants that could have gone to veterans, that could have gone to like people that actually need Social Security, that actually need Medicaid, that are citizens of the United States. This is absolutely wild. This is an infiltration of the United States like we've never seen before. Crazy. And this, Terry says, this has probably been going around long for decades. 4 decades. Terrible. These people have been stealing our money for a long time. They've been stealing our money for a long time. They didn't require voter ID. This is crazy. Elon Musk also said in this town hall, he reveals that Doge is going to go ahead and target these Congress members who've strangely been wealthy over this time. Speaking at a town hall in Wisconsin Sunday night, Elon Musk suggests that his team, the Department of Government Efficiency, will now investigate certain members of Congress who have achieved generational wealth on $120,000, $180,000 salary, and now they're multimillionaires. One attendee in the town hall had asked Elon Musk if Doge had uncovered evidence of fraud wired from USAID Maxine Waters, the rep Maxine Waters, to Senator Adam Shifty Shift. This is what Elon Musk says. She says they'll send money overseas to an NGO, a non-governmental organization. Then they'll go through a bunch of them. He's highly confident that the money comes back to them. Here's what he said.
Strangely wealthy members of Congress, where I just can't, I'm trying to connect the dots of how did they become rich? Well, how'd they get 20 million if they're earning 200,000 a year? Nobody can explain that. So something's, yeah, we're going to try to figure it out and certainly stop it from happening. Yeah. I mean, just in general, the whole NGO scam is just crazy. Yeah, it's blown my mind, really. Yeah.
Wild. When you think about it, somebody said Incoherent Clam said, please investigate AOC and Bernie Sanders, such scum. Here's a picture of Nancy Pelosi with her walking stick because she fell and broke her hip. I feel bad that she broke her hip, but she's been insider trading for decades, or her husband has. Her husband's one of the best traders in the world. There's actually a thread on Discord that I was invited to that follows those particular picks, and I'll let you guys know how that rolls. I'll probably do a couple picks. I'll probably play a couple picks, invest on a couple things, follow the pattern of the Pelosi team to see, to see what's going on. Two of the wealthiest include House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who has a net worth of about $250 million. Senator Rick Scott, whose personal fortune hovers around $552 million. Pelosi's wealth largely comes from her venture capitalist husband, Paul, and his lucrative investments in companies like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and Netflix. How did they get $20 million if they're earning $200,000 a year? Yeah. Martha Stewart's probably pissed. She's pissed. Martha Stewart didn't even make that much money. She was over here selling sheets, and then they got her for insider trading. Nope. And Nancy Pelosi's over here openly doing it. I'm going to jump into the comments here. It's funny how they acquired 100 times their income. Ricardo says, they put Martha in jail for that. Yeah. Yeah. Some guy followed the stock trades and made a killing. It's a Tucker Carlson show. Yeah, I actually got invited to this Discord group that I'm going to test out. I attended a couple of the sessions. I saw that some of the folks they were doing pretty well. They were doing pretty well. So this isn't investment advice by any means, but what I'll do is I'll test it out on a couple and see if it works. Obviously, it's working for Nancy Pelosi. My girl Martha did her time. What is up, Ozzy Greg? Ozzy Greg in the house. Crazy. Let me exit this. All right.
Launching a DOJ-led investigation into the personal fortunes of Democratic members of Congress.
There's a lot of strangely wealthy members of Congress. I just can't.
Slowing down, and neither is the rhetoric for the latest. Let's get straight to Fox Business's Grady Trimble. Hey, Grady.
Hey, Jackie, and as we wait for the Doge team to dig into why so many career politicians have such high net worths, we also know that the team is expanding its reach to more federal agencies this week, now targeting the Securities and Exchange Commission and, as you noted, the CIA. The president's executive order on Inauguration Day instructs agency heads to create Doge teams made up of at least 4 employees. Here's what the SEC tells us. In compliance with the president's EO establishing Doge, the SEC is beginning to onboard members of the team. We also know, as you noted, that Musk is meeting with CIA Director John Ratcliffe today. We'll see what comes from that meeting. And even as those protesters in D.C. and across the country criticize Musk, he's doubling down on Doge and making a new argument. He's making the case that Doge's work will help grow the overall economy.
By reducing waste and fraud, we'll essentially make the economy more efficient, and we'll shift people resources from the government to the private sector. And that will result in an increase in the output of goods and services. And so the average standard of living will therefore rise.
And the New York Times is reporting Doge gained access to a payroll system that processes salaries for some 276,000 federal employees across dozens of agencies. No word on what the Doge folks are going to do with that info, but the Times reports some employees who push back against sharing it are on administrative leave and under investigation. I think
they should be. They should be under investigation. If you're not willing to give up information on seeing where the fraud, waste, and abuse is at, I think they should be under investigation and they should be set on administrative leave. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section down below. All right. Chicago, Chi-Town. Chi-Town, Sanctuary City. Sanctuary City. You see our boy Brandon over here. Let's go, Brandon. Oh, let's go. In 2024, Chicago had 573 homicides, leading the nation in the category for the 13th year in a row. Homicides rates, 100,000 residents in the city, was 5 times higher than New York, and 377, or than New York's 377, and 3 times higher than Los Angeles. There's our boy Brandon, just letting folks in, and he doesn't want to deport the amigos. Yeah, Shame Town. It's crazy. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Chicago mayor reacts to 15-year-old shot as large crowds of teens gather downtown. Let's jump in. Be sure to smash the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithms.
Came during an event here at Navy Pier directed at teenagers from at-risk neighborhoods, providing them with something to do, connecting them with resources for summer jobs and other activities. And it is more of this that the mayor believes would go a long way to preventing disruptions like what happened last night.
The reckless and dangerous behavior that was exhibited last night, no one wants to see that, and we're not going to tolerate it.
Mayor Brandon Johnson today reacting to last night's so-called teen takeover in Streeterville, where dozens of teenagers congregated near Cityfront Plaza at McClurgan, Illinois, creating a disruption that led to a 15-year-old boy being shot in the leg. Second Ward Alderman Brian Hopkins earlier adding more detail to what he described as 3 to 4 hours of uncontrolled chaos.
They were blocking traffic, jumping on cars, harassing pedestrians, stealing from the stores. There were several fights. Tasers were deployed.
It is not immediately.
This is what you get when you defund the police. When you defund the police, you let people into the city. Yeah, granted, these are kids, but if there's no authority figures around, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get this crap box. Chicago is tanking just like Los Angeles. I posted a video, a live a couple days ago about Los Angeles and about their budget deficit. These guys are in the same path.
Clear what led to the shots being fired. The incident coming on the final weekend of spring break for Chicago students. It is a weekend during which the city also hosted its 4th annual My Chai, My Future Teen Bash event at Navy Pier, where it's estimated between 1,000 and 1,500 teens came out to participate. Some saying more of this is what is needed.
At first, when I came here, I'm like, this is going to be so corny, and then I'm in here and it's like so fun. There's so many things that I can do, so much of a variety.
Simmons City Council saying what is needed is a change in the city's curfew for minors from the current 10 p.m. to 8 p.m.
That can be used to quell the violence before it starts. The police have asked for this tool. I think we need to give it to them. It's an extraordinarily difficult thing to do, to contain 300 teenagers when you only have about 60 police officers.
Did you hear that? If you only got 60 police officers, there's a reason. There's a reason why you have police officers. You don't just have 60 police officers for 1,500 kids. You just don't have migrants moving into Chicago and ruining a place that was once beautiful in the Midwest.
Changing the curfew is something that Alderman Hopkins first attempted to do last summer. At the time, City Council deferred the vote, sending the proposal back to committee. It is one that Mayor Johnson opposes, saying that enforcing the current curfew is enough.
Watch breaking news.
That's why you're a loser, bro. Brandon Johnson. Chicago, America's murder capital. Absolute crap show. Places like these are going down the toilet. Let me jump into the comments here. Shame town. That's what Dorothy says. Shame town. Terry says, last I knew, my aunt still lives in Chicago. Hopefully she's moving out of Chicago. The Windy City is a lost cause, I guess. At least they still dyed the River green. Yeah. You know, honestly, I always wanted to go see on St. Patrick's Day that river. And they have beautiful architecture there. They have beautiful like homes, architecture, design, historic buildings, and it's being ruined. The armpit of the Midwest. Total chaos. Looks like Detroit lost their title. Yeah. Detroit is actually coming up. They're doing a lot in the city. They're doing a lot. They're bringing back. They're basically gentrifying Detroit. And pretty soon this place is going to look like LA. You watch. You watch. Brandon Johnson has a 6% approval rating. I wonder why. Right? Pinecone 13 says, I'm a Detroiter here in Detroit. Detroit's a different ball game now, literally. Yeah, I've heard some amazing things about Detroit. Detroit is doing some real cool stuff. They were in the slums for a while, especially after the 2008 situation, after everything off, after all the manufacturing pulled out of Detroit. And then now they're building a lot, condos, apartments, work style living places. I heard it's gorgeous. Chicago is going to be one of those places that's going to follow in suit, at least in my personal opinion. They're going to follow in suit with Detroit if this keeps going. Brandon Johnson has a 6% approval rating, not kicking migrants out, saying, hey, come on in. No police. What do you expect is going to happen? What do you expect is going to happen? DT, Donald Trump, number 47, has been in the news the past couple days because he talked about jokingly, not jokingly, on Air Force One. He said, hey, and he's been talking about this for the past couple months about jumping on a third term. Trump's not joking about potential third term despite constitutional barriers. President Donald Trump has said that he was serious about running for a third term despite constitutional restrictions on a phone interview with an MSDNC or NBC News on Sunday, March 30th. Trump said he wasn't joking about the third term. Caroline Levitt had something to say about this when she approached the press at the White House.
Look, you guys continue to ask the president this question about a third term, and then he answers honestly and candidly with a smile, and then everybody here melts down about his answer. The president talked about this last night on the plane. He said, it's not really something we're thinking about. He has 4 years. There's a lot of work to do. We've done a lot in these nearly first 100 days, and the American people love what this president is doing, particularly when it comes to efforts to secure the border.
He really knows how to work the media up and always have the media talking about him. He's a fantastic marketer. And he's a phenomenal businessman. The act of 1871 has been dissolved, and the 22nd Amendment was put in 1951. It's null and void. This is what Jax writes. I know Donald Trump said that there were particular ways around the scenario. I'm not sure, but at least in my personal opinion, he'll probably be a little bit. He'll be older. Obviously he'll be older, right? But on March 22nd, in an interview with News Nation, former White House strategist Steve Bannon discussed efforts to find ways to have Trump pursue a third term despite constitutional term limits. At the end of the day, he has to finish his existing term first.
A brilliant team of trade advisors. You have Secretary Bessent, Secretary Lutnick, Jamieson Greer, our U.S. trade representative, Peter Navarro, of course, and Kevin Hassett here at the White House, Stephen Miller as well. The vice president has been deeply involved in these conversations. All of these individuals have presented plans to the president on how to get this done, and it's the president's decision to make, and we will not get ahead of him on the specifics of the announcement.
And how will stock market sell-off cause the White House to rethink any of these plans?
The president has always said that the stock market is a snapshot of a moment in time, and he's doing what's best for Main Street, and Wall Street will work out just fine in this administration, just like they did in their first term.
As you said last week, Caroline, you said there would be an investigation or a review into how Jeffrey Goldberg's number got on that.
Oh, they're still on the signal crap.
Review? And what is the status of National Security Advisor Mike Waltz?
As the president has made it very clear, Mike Waltz continues to be an important part of his national security team. And this case has been closed here at the White House as far as we are concerned. There have been steps made to ensure that something like that can obviously never happen again. And we're moving forward. And the president and Mike Waltz and his entire national security team have been working together very well. If you look at how much safer the United States of America is because of the leadership of this team.
On the tariffs, are there going to be sector by sector announcements this week at the event you're alluding to? Is it going to be focusing on sectors or more country-based tariffs?
The goal of Wednesday are country-based tariffs, but certainly sectoral tariffs. The president has said he's committed to implementing them, and I'll leave it to him on when he makes that decision and that announcement.
Caroline,
Sure.
Does President Trump still plan to talk to President Putin this week, and if so, when?
I don't have a...
Trump just knows how to keep the media talking about him. Here's what he said on Air Force One about that third term here.
You were not joking about a third term, about possibly wanting a third term. Does that mean you're not planning to leave office on January 20th?
I'm not looking at that, but I'll tell you, I have had more people ask me to have a third term, which is in a way a fourth term, because the other election, the 2020 election, was totally rigged. So it's actually sort of a fourth term in a certain way. I just don't want the credit for the second, because Biden was so bad. He did such a bad job. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm popular, if you want to know the truth. I think I'm popular because we've done a great job. I think we've had the best almost 100 days of any president. And most people are saying that. And it's an honor. We're bringing back our country. We're respected as a country again. And we're strongly respected. And people are amazed. I was with some very important people today, and they said that they've never seen a turnaround of a country as fast as this. Even look at our border. We have nobody coming in. And you can come into our country, but you have to come in legally. But we have nobody coming in to our country. It's almost shut down. They've never seen anything like this.
At an appropriate precedent limits a president to 2 terms. Is it your understanding that they have to
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just telling you, I have had more people say, please run again. They said, we have a long way to go before we even think about that. But I've had a lot of people. Yeah, go ahead. Did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, do you think that's an appropriate precedent to set, even if it wasn't you in this position, to see a president serve a 3rd term?
I don't want to talk about a 3rd term now, because no matter how you look at it, we got a long time to go. We have a long time. You know, we have almost 4 years to go. And that's a long time. But despite that, so many people are saying, you've got to run again. They love the job we're doing. Most importantly, they love the job we're doing.
So you said you were upset with the preaching. Would you say you're related? Would you say?
So we got 4 more years to go. Airdrie says Trump is trolling. He wants the libs to lose sleep for the next few years. And absolutely, that's what they're doing, because they're just talking about this in the media. Trump knows how to have the libs' heads spin. He knows how to get media coverage, whether if he's truthful about a 3rd term or not, but he knows how to keep the head spinning. Ding, ding, dong. Keep the head spinning.
It's come out of this as the news cycle is really talking a lot about Trump saying that he wants to possibly run, quote unquote, for a 3rd term. And I think, that was really brilliant on behalf of the president. He knows how to control a news cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's funny because it's like they want to run with this narrative. Our traditional media, our regime media, as we've come to like to call it, they want to run with this narrative because they want to push this whole idea that he is just a hungry, power-rich man wanting to hold on and be a king. I mean, these are the things that they write on their stupid poster boards when they do their Tesla protests and such. They really want to push that idea. What's interesting is that Trump doesn't just say like, blow it off and say that that's ridiculous. He does say like, I'm not really wanting to talk about that right now. There is a possibility we could go there, but I think that this is a great play for him to react in this way, because the thing is there it wasn't always this way. I mean, there's precedent that there were people, I mean, way back when, before the 22nd Amendment, that had multiple terms. And the other thing is, I think it shows transparency, because clearly we have had others run and have had multiple terms. I mean, just it was behind closed doors, right? I mean, most people agree that Obama has had multiple terms now.
A third term, yeah.
Obama.
So this is a
No,
chance
for sure.
it
And
to at least be out in the open.
Right. And maybe it's time that the Constitution does change. I mean, the Constitution has been changed numerous times in history. Maybe the 22nd Amendment needs some looking at. The American public might agree that there should be a president for 3 terms or 4 terms. It's up to the American public, I think, to decide, really. So there are legal ways that he could technically run for a 3rd term, like I mentioned earlier, getting the Senate and the House to 2/3 of the Senate and the House to vote for that, and also to get the states to ratify it. So, depending, I think, on the job he does for the next 4 years, and hopefully the fake news won't manipulate polls and continue to obviously report negatively on him. Maybe that's something that's actually possible. But the bottom line is, it is possible to legally do that, to legally run for a third term. But obviously that would be difficult, but it is something that can actually happen.
What you guys think about that? Drop it down in the chat down below. I'm going to jump through some of the comments here. Patrick Kennedy says, troller in chief. Oh, trolling.
Got him.
Oh, Ricardo Freedom. Gotta love this president. Yes, Patrick Kennedy says, homies on the plane answering questions. When was the last time you saw Biden on the plane answering questions? When was the last time you saw a president, period, besides Donald Trump, answering questions on a plane? This dude has way more media coverage. He knows how to get the news. He knows how to get in the news. Albany, Oregon Skywatcher. He loves the USA, and so does 80% or more of the United States. Hope Trump never leaves office. Yes, I agree. But also, depends. We got to see how the remainder of the rest of the 4 years roll out. He's doing a fantastic job 100 days in. Absolutely fantastic. If this is any indication on how the next 4 years is going to roll, we going to be in good shape. Jax writes, Trump's success depends on our success. Musk does too. Jesus King says, love this. Yes. Obama. Yeah, Obama had 3 terms. Barack Hussein Obama had 3 terms. Why can't anybody else? He knows how to keep the head spinning. Let me jump into the next topic here. The next topic, we got astronauts, right? We got the astronauts stuck in space. Little or no media coverage on this situation. Even when I posted a video about, like, this was 3-4 months ago when they were up there, nobody really seemed to care about it, which is okay. But these guys have been stuck in space. These guys were stuck in space for 9 months. Joe Rogan even had something to say about this. He said, why wasn't there crazy media coverage about this?
You didn't hear a peep about Elon rescuing those people. That should have been on all of the news stories all day long. We should have had a live stream of it. It should have been a huge national event. We're finally going to rescue the astronauts who are trapped in the space station for 8 fucking months. And this super genius, this Elon Musk character, is the guy who figured out how to go get them. His company went and rescued them because we can't do it anymore. We couldn't rescue them. We had to rely on his company, and you don't hear shit about it. Why weren't they live streaming the whole thing? That's a huge moment.
The astronauts, here's a little clip of the astronauts with an interview when they sat down with Fox News.
What would you like to say to President Trump and Elon Musk?
I respect you. I trust you. You've given me no reason not to trust you, either one of them. What they say, I can't say what they say. I haven't lived that. But I have no reason not to believe anything they say because they've earned my trust. And for that, I am grateful that our national leaders actually are coming in and taking part in our human spaceflight program, which we see is hugely important global significance, and they take an active role. And based on the past and what we see now, with them doing that, it's refreshing. Not just refreshing, it's empowering. It's strengthening for our nation. I think it's a good thing for our nation when the national leaders, especially something that has high visibility, are involved in the process. And I'm grateful for that.
And, I'm just glad that they're involved and they take notice. And, our situation, I think I mentioned before, maybe wasn't the perfect situation, but allowed a lot of people, including the president and Elon, to look at what's going on the International Space Station, take it very seriously, and understand that our involvement as a country, as a spacefaring nation, is really important throughout the world. And it sets an example, and it shows, our ability to be able to do the hard things, put people in space, operate in space, work in space, and then bring us back. It's important, and I appreciate that them and many, many, many more people took notice of it.
These guys were on an interview today with Fox News, and they talked more in depth. And they said, "Hey, we don't want to point fingers at this, but Biden left us in space." Biden, Elon had to come to the rescue. Exactly, Terry. Elon had to come to the rescue. Airdrie says that she watched the interview live. I haven't watched the full interview yet. I'll check it out later on today. But to have these folks back after 9 months, only expecting to be there for a short period of time and be stuck in space, and the Biden administration didn't do anything about this scenario. Based on what Elon said, he said, "Hey, we offered numerous times and they just kind of brushed it off." It's interesting to me why you would leave somebody in space for 9 months. They look good now, but they didn't look so hot. They didn't look so bueno when they were coming out that space station because they were left in space. Yeah, Airdrie writes, and the government still wants to rely on Boeing, which is bananas to me. Boeing just blowing up everywhere. Landing gear malfunctions, and they're rolling out that new fighter jet produced by Boeing. I don't know. If Elon wasn't so busy uncovering waste, fraud, and abuse, I think he would build something super cool. Airdrie writes, Sonny and Butch sounds like a sitcom. It might be a Netflix series. I wouldn't I would not what's the word I'm looking for? I wouldn't doubt that, in the next 5 years or so they'll have something Butch, Sonny and Butch lost in space. Like a documentary on Netflix or something like that. They got sucked into space because that lady brought a false god with her, and the Christian man saved her. I believe it. Amen to that, sister. Patrick Kennedy, doors falling off jets. It's more like radar scatter for enemies to target. It's crazy. It's crazy that they still would rely on Boeing. Can you imagine being stuck up there for 9 months? I couldn't imagine. You're supposed to go up there for a quick round trip, and you get sucked in there for nine months. All right. Mississippi eliminates state income tax. Be sure to smash the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Mississippi eliminates state income tax. Kudos to Mississippi to join Nevada to remove state income tax. Let's jump into this.
Mississippi taking matters into its own hands to put more money in the pockets of residents. The governor signing an historic bill this week to abolish the state's income tax, becoming the 10th state in the nation to eliminate income tax. Joining me now in a Fox Business exclusive is the governor of Mississippi, Tate Reeves. Governor, great to have you this weekend. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Maria. It's great to see you, and it's a great day to be an American, and it's a great day to be a Mississippian.
Well, this bill has been in the works for 15 years. Tell us what it will mean for the Mississippi economy.
Well, this is, Maria, this is our one big, beautiful bill in Mississippi. We've been working to cut taxes and moving towards eliminating the income tax, and I was finally able to sign a bill into law this week that over time gets us to accomplish exactly that goal. In Mississippi, we believe government ought to take less so that our people get to keep more of their money.
And when you look at other states that have no income tax, you've seen a huge surge of individuals moving from high tax states to low tax states or no income tax states. Is that what you're expecting?
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you see not only economic growth in those states with no income tax, you also see population growth in those states. And we think we have a beautiful state in Mississippi. We've got a beautiful coastline on the Gulf of America. And I will just tell you that we have seen significant economic growth over the last 5 years. We've seen over $30 billion in new capital investment flowing to our state. And we think by eliminating our income tax, we're going to see not only more income and capital flow into our state, we think we're going to see more people flow into our state. And
I agree with that. We'll jump back into this video, but I agree with that. Hey, let's have state tax. You get taxed to live here. You get taxed on things, and then with hopes that you get a refund at the end of the year on money that you actually earned. Hey, let me hope that I get my my income tax squared away because it's my money anyways. This is a great move on Mississippi.
And so it's an opportunity for us to be more competitive on the national landscape, and we think it's going to work beautifully.
That is just incredible. And I love that you referred to the Gulf of America. I've talked to President Trump about his own tax cut plan. And one question I always ask him is, how are you going to offset? If you're going to cut taxes and eliminate the income tax like you're doing it, where does the revenue come from?
Well, I've talked to the president about his desires to cut taxes as well. And for us in Mississippi, you got to know where we start from. We're going to collect about $7.8 billion in total revenue this year. And our current budget spends just barely over $7 billion. So we have a $750 million annual surplus in the state of Mississippi. And so I believe that if you allow government to keep that $750 million surplus, they will find a way to spend it. But I think it's better for your economy to let individual Mississippians spend more of their money, which will then grow the economy. So the combination of more capital investment in our state, more job creation in our state, more income growth through per capita income growth, which Mississippi is in the third quarter of 2024 was the fourth fastest growing per capita income growth in all of America. We're going to see significant economic output in our state, and that's going to lead to us being able to fund the necessary services in government while also letting our people keep more of their own money.
Well, that is terrific. And like President Trump, it sounds like you're counting on growth. and that growth will create the revenue that I'm referring to. Look, the president is pushing to cut taxes on a national level by downsizing the IRS. He's creating this external revenue service, replacing income tax on U.S. citizens with tariffs on foreign countries. Just this week, the president announced a new round of levies on foreign-made cars. Watch.
We're going to charge countries for doing business in our country and taking our jobs, taking our wealth, taking a lot of things that they've been taking over the years. What we're going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States.
Governor, auto manufacturing, one of the top sectors in Mississippi.
We're going to jump into auto manufacturing here in a minute, but this is great for the economy in Mississippi because people can hold more of their dollars that they earn and push it back into the economy in which they live. More development, more opportunities, more things for local businesses to grow. This is why you see places like California, Chicago, New York. The infrastructure is predominantly foreign dollars.
With more than 200 auto manufacturers and over 500,000 vehicles produced in the state every year, how are these tariffs going to affect your state?
Well, Maria, there's no shortage of opinions as with respect to President Trump's tariff proposals. But let me tell you what our experience has been in Mississippi over the last couple of months. We've had tremendous success since I've been governor now over 5 years of not only investment from American companies, but also direct foreign investment. What we've seen over the last couple of months is our deal flow and our potential deals in our economic development shop have never been greater. We are seeing potential investments from countries all over the world because they're going to produce more in America. We've seen companies that are headquartered here that maybe are doing manufacturing in other parts of the world that are looking to bring those manufacturing operations back on shore. The fact of the matter is that we have the potential for a manufacturing boom in America, and Mississippi is better positioned than most states because we never gave up on manufacturing. That's what we do in Mississippi. We make stuff, and we make it really, really well. And so these proposed tariffs and what they have meant to our deal flow has been nothing but positive. And I will tell you, I've got a team going overseas literally this weekend. This will be the third trip to a foreign country in the last 3 weeks. There are lots of opportunities out there for governors and for those in states that want to see manufacturing relocate in the United States. And
so I'm going to jump into some of these comments real quick. Jojo Ray says, I live in Washington. They have no income tax, but they hiked property tax, gas tax, car tabs, and every other tax to make up for the income tax. They have a huge deficit due to the idiot libs. This is the definite balance act that you have to play, right? No state income tax, keeping property tax fairly reasonable. Obviously, it's going to appreciate. Homes are going to appreciate because more infrastructure is going to be placed in the economy, whether that's, high-rise condos or new home developments and things like that. So it's going to raise up property tax, but I know that like here in Nevada, property tax has gone up, but not crazy in regards of percentages. Ozzy Greg says, sounds like a great governor. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. It was a great move. Great move. Rob says, so glad I caught the live. Shout out to you, Rob, man. Kudos to you, man, on your new job, too. Kudos to you. Rob starting a new job 2 weeks in. War Eagle Jack, WEJ. Mississippi ain't as nice as Alabama. LOL. Too much swampland and the college football sucks in Mississippi. I used to bet on NCAA football quite a bit. Alabama was my go-to. They were hot. They're still really good. Oh, man. Speaking of another decent football team, Georgia. Georgia introduces a new plant. They're introducing a new plant to build Hyundais. And they're going to hire 8,500 people.
New EV plant in Georgia. This, of course, as the Trump administration pushes automakers for more production here in the United States.
Here we go. Sorry about that, guys. It's stormy or it's windy. It's windy out here.
David, you mentioned robots. I bring you robots. Check this out. Boston Dynamics, which is 90% owned by the Hyundai Group. They are a big part of the robots from Boston Dynamics, a big part of checking the manufacturing quality.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that Boston Dynamics, Hyundai owned Boston Dynamics. You guys remember these robots right here? They have these robots doing SWAT breaches and things like that. Now they're scanning these vehicles for any imperfections.
You have this Ioniq 5, also Ioniq 9s that come through here. Every body of every vehicle that comes off the line is inspected by these robots to make sure that the holes are drilled in the right spot, the weld joints are in the right spot. Essentially, it's quality control. It's also a little freaky when the first time you see it out here, but this is a peek at future of manufacturing here in the United States. Really, it's manufacturing around the world. How important is this plant? Not only for Hyundai, but in terms of auto manufacturing? Keep in mind that just over 54% of the vehicles sold in the United States are built in the United States, and more than 8% are imported from Korea. Though Hyundai believes that as this plant starts to spool up production, it will be importing fewer from Korea and selling more of the vehicles it builds here in the United States. This plant has the capacity to ultimately build 300,000 vehicles, though they could expand that up to 500,000 vehicles annually. And for Hyundai, the growth continues. We've talked about this for a long time. Hyundai Kia has been on a steady growth trajectory here in the United States. Now the fourth largest automaker, sales last year up 3.3%. And this plant is focused strictly on EVs, though when you talk with Hyundai executives, it's pretty clear. They realize the future is not just EVs, but also hybrids and internal combustion engine vehicles. They now have 3 plants open in the United States. And later today, we're going to hear from the CEO of Hyundai, Jose Munoz. We'll talk to him about his thoughts about the future of manufacturing, especially given the emphasis that is being put on it.
All these things are robots pushing the cars through the Boston Dynamics. LJ also writes in the chat, shout out to LJ. These Boston Dynamic robots are patrolling Mar-a-Lago.
When it comes to the White House and its push for more domestic manufacturing automobiles. Guys, I'll send it back to you while I hang out with my robotic friends here.
We were just talking about this, Phil. We were literally just talking about whether if the Trump administration can be successful, and Hyundai is a good example of getting more cars built in the U.S. Though we don't see many workers behind you, just robots. So how many people does it take to fill a plant like this?
Well, here, we'll show you the robots. Here, let's stay on the robots only because it is pretty fascinating
cool.
just
They're
to watch
cool.
them.
Yes.
But then I'm going to show you that.
It's wild.
There we go. He's doing his thing. And look, this is not the only manufacturing plant that has robots doing this type of work. We're seeing this more and more in all industries when it comes to manufacturing. You're just going to start to see it increase dramatically,
Right.
I would say, over the next decade. But in terms of people, guys, let me show you right back here. Look, there's scores of people here. 8,500 will ultimately work at this plant. And then when you add the suppliers in the area, they expect another 6,500 jobs to be created. Some of them have already been created. They're already.
And they need people to run these, these machines. They need people to code and back end and do all this other stuff to ensure that these robots do their job. This is really cool to see how these Hyundai EVs are being developed. This is fascinating. pretty soon this is how they're going to build homes too.
Suppliers in this area. So it's not like the robots are taking over and we will never see humans working in an auto plant. It's just that this is going to be augmenting the work of humans. Quality control is number one on the list of things that
Hyundai makes some pretty cool cars. Hyundai and Kia, same manufacturer. This is cool. Airdrie writes, only the robots would consent to appear on CNBC. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, LJ, I never owned a robot. I'm afraid of it. It would get mad and assassinate me. Oh man. Just like that movie. What was that movie with Chief Slap-a-Lot? Will Smith, Chief Slap-a-Lot. It was a good movie. I was a fan of Will Smith. I liked his movies. Then he slapped Chris Rock across the face in the middle of an award show, and nobody did anything. That's when I completely lost respect of anything Holly Weird related. Shout out to Patrick Kennedy for the gifted membership. Kudos. Thank you. This message is better than the current Disney. Yeah. I would love to see smart homes like that. Yeah. There, somebody had mentioned in the live chat a couple chats ago about 3D printing homes. I started to look into it. I'm like, wow, 3D printed homes. It's pretty neat how they do this. There's a manufacturer out here in Nevada that does these 3D printed homes. Pretty sweet. Shout out to Rob for the gifted memberships. The 5 gifted memberships. Shout out to Rob. Thank you. Airdrie writes, Atlas was a pretty cool movie too. I haven't seen Atlas. I'm sure Patrick Kennedy has seen Atlas. All right. We're going to jump into this next topic here. We got some Epstein stuff rocking. This was a fascinating story to me because this woman was hit by a bus. Okay, Epstein accuser hit by a bus. Jeffrey Epstein's victim, Virginia, claims she has just 4 days to live after getting hit by a bus randomly.
Me up in the morning and said, "You're going to meet a prince today." I didn't know at that point that I was going to be trafficked to that prince. And then that night, Prince Andrew came to her house in London, and we went out to Club Tramp. Prince Andrew got me alcohol. It was in the VIP section. I'm pretty sure it was vodka. Prince Andrew was like, "Let's dance together." And I was like, okay. And we leave Club Tramp, and I hop in the car with Ghislaine and Jeffrey, and Ghislaine said he's coming back to the house, and I want you to do for him what you do for Epstein. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that even royalty were involved. I was so young.
So this lady got hit by a bus. She got hit by a bus. Okay. There was an interview done regarding Prince Diana writing down information in her journal. This was an interview about Prince Diana writing in her journal and being afraid for her life.
To know how vulnerable she was, how frightened she was, and how marginalized she was.
I am sitting here at my desk today in October, longing for someone to hug me and encourage me to keep strong.
The princess wrote all her letters at her writing desk, a knee-hole desk. I can see it now. with a letter rack in front, the alabaster statue of Christ with rosary beads around it, pictures of the boys.
This particular phase in my life is the most underlined dangerous.
She always wrote with blue-black ink, cream stationery with a red edge and a D and coronet central at the top.
My husband is planning an accident in my car, brake failure, a serious head injury, in order to make the path clear for him to marry Tiggy.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Shout out to Rob. Shout out to Rob for the super chat. Thank you so much, Rob, for the super chat. Really appreciate you. He said, make sure to hit that like button and check out the Discord group. Yeah, absolutely. Check out the Discord group. It's in the description down below. Shout out to Rob for the super chat. Thank you so much. Where's my cheers at? Thank you, Rob. Yeah, her death was planned. This is interesting because this is Prince, Andrew. Epstein accuser, listen to this. Epstein accuser has days to live after a bus crash.
Virginia Giuffre says she has been given just days to live after a car crash. The 41-year-old, who was sex trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein, shared this shocking photograph of herself from a hospital bed covered in bruises. In the Instagram post, she claimed to be suffering from kidney failure and was ready to go. She also begged to see her children one last time. She said, "They've given me 4 days to live, transferring me to a specialist hospital in urology. This year has been the worst start to a new year, but I won't bore anyone with the details." She went on to say, "But I think it's important to note that when a school bus driver comes at you driving 110 kilometers an hour, as we were slowing down for a turn, that no matter what your car is made of, it might as well be a tin can." She ended the Instagram post by thanking her followers for being a great part of her life. Virginia's father, Sky Roberts, commented on the post and said, "Virginia, my daughter, I love you. I'm praying you get the correct treatment to live a long and healthy life. If there is anything in the world I can do to help you, please let me know. My spirit is with you now and holding your hand." Virginia recently separated from her husband, Robert, and claims she is now estranged from their 3 teenage children. She has been a campaigner for victims of sexual abuse after accusing Prince Andrew of sexually abusing her when she was 17, while she travelled with Andrew's pals Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. 3 years ago, the disgraced Duke paid millions to Virginia in an out-of-court settlement while denying sexual assault accusations.
So why you pay millions out of court? Did you guys hear that?
Andrew was then spared a humiliating court battle over claims he sexually assaulted her when she was a teenager. The settlement marked the first time he had shown contrition over his relationship with Epstein and Maxwell.
Why are you paying people out of court if you didn't do it, man? Anyways, I thought this story was a little odd. Bus rolling at 68 miles an hour. 68 miles an hour, hit her in a car. I don't know what type of bus it was. Anybody in the chat, let me know what type of bus it was. But for her to get hit by a car after a settlement just seems kind of, after allegations with Prince Andrew and Epstein, just seems kind of coincidental to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm off, but maybe trying to axe somebody, right? Terry writes 60 miles an hour. Yep. What's up, Carly? Carly Dillman in the house. It was a school bus. A school bus going 68 miles an hour. Who was the driver? Yeah, very convenient. It's very convenient. I don't know. It's not suspicious at all, right? It's the same equivalent to that Secret Service agent that was in good health when he was 90-something, 93 years old. And he was the last witness at the JFK assassination. Convenient. Yep, they did it to cover up. At least that's what I think. I think somebody's covering up. Yeah, who the hell drives a school bus at 68 miles an hour? That's what Rob writes. It's crazy. Hopefully there were no kids in there. Seems like a setup to me. I don't know. I might be wrong, but it just seems so coincidental. Just like they have to investigate those police officers. There was 5 or 6 police officers in the past 4 months that have axed themselves. What is going on? With treatment, you don't die of renal failure for several days, but you live with dialysis. This is what Airdrie writes. Where did this accident happen? Let me double check. Let me check. Prince Andrew accuser. I'm going to check BBC. Let's see. Found. Nope. Nothing on here. Let's check. Not sure what. Some of you guys in the chat could probably help me out on this. Lives in Australia. She filed a lawsuit. So let's see. Introduced in London. Might have happened in Australia. Okay, cool. Thank you, Airdrie. Appreciate you. So it happened in Australia. Sad. It's crazy. Anyways, guys. So those are updates today. I'm still editing the Las Vegas shooter situation. I got some new footage from my buddy from the documentary, so I'll be dropping that soon. But I want to give a huge shout out to all the moderators in the chat. Happy Monday, by the way, everybody. Happy Monday. I want to give a huge shout out to the moderators in the chat. Shout out to the mods. And then shout out to everybody catching this on the live. And if you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section down below. And I want to give a shout out to Patrick Kennedy for the gifted memberships. Shout out to Patrick Kennedy for the gifted memberships. Shout out to Rob on the gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Rob. Thank you so much, Patrick Kennedy. And shout out to Rob for the super chat. Rob says, make sure to hit the like button and check out the Discord group. Those of you that aren't familiar with Discord, don't worry about it. The Discord link is in the description down below. And there's also like an SOS section that was created in the Discord group in case you're not familiar with how to utilize it. It'll run you through. It's basically like WhatsApp. We can share all this stuff. And then also you can connect with like-minded individuals in the chat. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. Shout out to Patrick Kennedy. Patrick Kennedy with the super chat. Shout out to Patrick Kennedy. He says, Bad Boys Movie Night. Let's go. Let's go. Movie night is in the Discord group. You can check the Discord group in the description down below. Shout out to you, Patrick Kennedy. He'll be hosting Bad Boys tonight as a movie night. Pamela watching live from Guam, USA. It is 12:24 p.m. Tuesday here. Thank you so much for catching the live, Pamela. All right, guys, I am going to jump out of here. I will be here tomorrow, 6 p.m. PST, which is Tuesday, 6 p.m. PST, with another live. So shout out to everybody. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Again, shout out to the mods. Shout out to you guys in the chat. I got to jump on out of here because I have a meeting here in about 30 minutes at 8 p.m. I shouldn't have scheduled it, but it's all good. Anyways, guys, drop your comments down below. Smash the like button, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you guys so much.